Hello, everybody, and welcome to our planning stream for Galaxy and Revolt. I know what you're thinking. Haven't we done this before? We have. And haven't we done this before? We have. So,
if you know, you know.
But it's been a long time. I wanted to reintroduce the system to everybody, because even when we were playing Marth and the Mandos, for instance, forgot a bunch of stuff. Wanted to let everybody reintroduce their characters, kind of recontextualize a lot of the stuff, because it has been a long time. People might have thought of new stuff. People's opinions might have changed on things. So I wanted to kind of have a nice, cool reintro stream kind of thing. A new session 0 for the second leg of the Galaxy and Revolt campaign through the Clone Wars. So let's kind of reintroduce everybody as talk about why they like Star Wars, their relationship to the Clone Wars itself, whether that's just through the movies where we see the beginning and the end, or the show, or old comic books, or whatever. So, CC, you're still in that top corner.
I am.
You go ahead.
Oh my gosh, should I do this to myself? Reaction.
You did it to yourself.
We've never made before, and certainly haven't made today.
No, never.
No one look at Twitch.
No.
Don't watch the VOD on Twitch. On YouTube, it's okay. So yeah, question: What do I like about Star Wars? Me? Yeah, I like a lot of. I mean, of course, I like the original movies and the prequels also, but a lot of what I like is like the TV shows. The Clone Wars, I think, is some of the best media that they've put out. And Bad Batch has just been killing it. So yeah, and what do I like about those, you might be asking? Just, I am a person who loves stories, and they tell heckin' good stories. So especially a lot of really tragic and sad stories, which, you love and you hate, but you love. So yeah, that's a lot of what I like about Star Wars, is lots of good, interesting stories.
Awesome. Liz.
Hey. What do I like about Star Wars? All the things people hate about it. I love the weird, goofy aliens, or needed more weird, goofy aliens. I like when it tries to be this big lore dump of a show. Like Book of Boba Fett was trying to be. I love it when Star Wars just has no idea what it wants to be, so it just throws everything at the wall. Like Mandalorian seasons 2 and 3. I hate Luke Skywalker now, but that's that's a personal vendetta.
Interesting.
Hot take, yeah.
Yeah. He remains my favorite, but I would love to hear why you hate him.
Oh, I hated he showed up in The Mandalorian. His weird, stupid CGI face.
Oh.
He gets better in Book of Boba Fett.
Not by much.
Well, I hope you're ready for Dave Filoni's movie that's going to be all of that.
Great.
It's... The cow isn't so sacred you can't recast young Luke Skywalker, right?
Sebastian
Mark Hamill
Stan.
will probably be fine with
Yes, Sebastian Stan is right there.
Yeah.
And the worst part was, like,
for that call.
They apparently just redid the voice too. Like, they took all these old interview clips from Mark Hamill and just made new
They've AI'd his voice, basically.
They AI'd his voice, so it's like, why even bother?
Which is, it's extra bizarre because
Mark Hamill's right there.
Mark Hamill, well, to be fair, Mark Hamill doesn't sound like young Mark Hamill anymore. But they just hired a sound-alike for Tarkin. It's not like they tried to recreate Peter Cushing's voice. Like,
Listen, Mark Hamill would be rolling in his grave if he could hear us talking right now.
You bet he would. You bet he would. Matt Mercer does a pretty passable.
It's a pretty good Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Luke Skywalker.
I'm sorry, Liz. What else do you or do you not like about Star Wars? We got off on a whole Luke tangent.
Whole Luke digital necromancy tangent. Is it digital necromancy if he's still alive?
I was literally thinking about this earlier today. Like, of what are they going to do for the obvious Heir of the Empire movie they're going to make? Are they going to digitally recreate Han and Leia too? They recast Chewie.
Chewie's a little easier because he's a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Let's try finding a 7-foot dude with blue eyes. Not easy.
How about a 7-foot dude, tall dude, and a pair of blue contacts?
Easier.
Grant
Also, we
O'Brien
forgot
is
Sweden
waiting.
exists, so it actually became a lot easier. We got like 4 of them. Got them working on their lopes.
sorry, anything else, Liz?
Like Star Wars Visions, which is where they got a bunch of animation studios to make up these little silly, like 10-minute shorts. And it's
Anime
probably
as hell.
yeah. And there was one guy I follow on Twitter who absolutely hated them all, and he's like, "You're not supposed to like it," and I'm like, or you're supposed to think it's like everything they try to be serious about. It's like super funny. I'm like, yeah, that's anime.
Yeah.
Like you're just describing anime.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to
Wasn't
like
one
it.
of them literally done by Studio Trigger?
Yeah.
two
they're
of
all.
them were.
I think they're all done by anime studios, aren't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, there's
also describing
because
Star
there's
Wars.
the two different studios within Trigger. They're like 3D to 2D one, and then their traditional one. Both did a Visions each.
And one was made by the guy who did Kill la Kill. And everyone was like
You can
super
tell which
upset
one
about
it
it.
is.
Yeah, you know which one it is.
Those Jedi robes cover a lot less than I remember.
Where their power comes from.
Yeah.
If you know anything about the Force, you know it comes from bikinis. Awesome.
Yeah, that's where Leia got all of her powers from. I don't know.
Oh yeah. How do you think she killed Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah, she was just surging with it.
Yeah. This is a good stream. We're spending our time well.
Marty, what you got?
Oh,
I don't know if you can top Kill la Kill Princess Leia, but go for it, buddy.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Star Wars is Lizzo and Jack Black.
Yeah.
it's my new favorite thing.
I think it hasn't gotten better than that. No, I obviously have a very complicated relationship with Star Wars, as everybody does. I prefer the mythological story at the heart of it, and then they keep ruining it by tagging bits onto it and being like, and also this guy. And I hate that, but I love it. So I'm just going to be in hell forever. I'm just going to push this rock up. It's going to roll back down. I'm going to go back and get the rock. But yeah,
Can I explain why it's a Baby Yoda shaped rock?
Oh my God. I hate that baby.
But at least he's a practical effect.
Yeah, but
Sometimes.
Marty has a
Let's
very
see what
complicated relationship to that baby.
I have a very complicated relationship with all of Star Wars. All of your heroes are liars and terrible. Don't believe people when they tell you they're wise. There's only one hero in that story, and it's the one that Liz hates. But yeah,
Why do you hate R2?
Excellent point, Jay.
Thank you. No, out of the Star Warses, I like 7.5 of the movies. I like the mythology of it more than I like the realism of it, but the realism of it tells some of the better stories, just objectively. Again, Clone Wars is excellent. I think The Mandalorian works best when it's not cleaning up Dave Filoni's leftover garbage, but I love Dave Filoni's leftover garbage so fucking much. I eat like a cow. So what am I going to do? Bo-Katan for life. Bo-Katan is garbage. So just you just have to hold these two truths in you, like some kind of dark and light side.
My favorite thing from the last episode, not the most recent one, but the one before that, was when the Mandalorian's like, Bo-Katan, I follow you for your honor and your loyalty and your niceness. And I'm like, Bo-Katan? You Bo-Katan? I like Bo-Katan. I support women's wrongs. Bo-Katan sucks.
Bo-Katan sucks all day.
All day.
But I love what they're doing.
I love her.
it.
She is a disaster. She is none of those things you described, Din Djarin.
Her loyalty in she's just sad someone else killed her sister. Like a foreigner, no less.
Oh,
I love Star Wars. I hate
it. And Jay.
Oh. I like about Star Wars a lot. My favorite thing, as it is with most pieces of media, is the things that don't necessarily get focused on. Because, like, if you want the Space Wizards, like, the Space Wizards are cool, I get it. We have 9 movies and so much extra media about the Space Wizards. The things I care more about are, like, obviously the droids, the clone troopers, all of the other parts of, like, just the universe that don't get as much focus. Like, one of my favorite movies is actually, Rogue One. No Space Wizards in that movie. Did it do some things wrong? Yes!
I also did some rad shit.
Also did some rad shit. Like digital necromancy, which is not one of the rad things, but...
No, but it kills Saw Gerrera, and fuck that guy forever. So
that was one of the things.
Fuck that guy forever.
Fuck that guy forever. I'm glad he gets Death Star lasered.
Yeah. Just a shame it happened so late.
Oh, it was just announced he's going to be in Andor season 2, I think, because of course he is.
Fucking course he is.
But like, I'm so sick of this dude. Also,
he's the worst.
I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars. I loved Star Wars when there was no Star Wars. I love Star Wars now that there's all the Star Wars. Are all of the movies good? No. Are they fun to watch? Usually. And even when they don't do something good, I'm always like, that was stupid. Okay. All of it. I used to hate Attack of the Clones. And now I'm just kind of like, I think it's the one I would probably like to watch the most because it's just, what is happening? Who is this?
If I stumble across Attack of the Clones in progress, I will never turn it off.
Yeah, it's just like...
Watch that motherfucker to the end every time.
Bizarre and weird, and it's got this detective story that goes nowhere.
Just watch soggy Obi-Wan be confused for 2 hours.
Like, oh my god, I love that. That's why I'm here. Is it? Why do you think you're here? Just rolling with it, and these weird aliens just can't read human body language, so they don't know he's lying through his teeth the whole time. Love it.
Just read faces because he may or may not be Sifo Dyas to them. They're like, whatever.
Hey, bearded human, it's cool. He wears the same clothes.
Really weird.
Christopher Lee's just Draculaing it up. Love it. Like,
good.
Not even trying to not be a bad guy. Like, it's just like, your pitch to Obi-Wan's real weird, but I think it's real weird on purpose. Like, I think you're trying to be like, I'm the obvious villain. It's just weird. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. I love Star Wars. As a kid, the New Republic was my favorite because that's what was happening. You know, it was the New Republic books were coming out. So it was the new Star Wars things. But like, I just love the Clone Wars so much. Like, the troopers are so fascinating to me. This meditation on the failure of the Jedi that, like, yes, obviously the Republic is the, quote, good guys, but they're also led by the worst dude in the galaxy. And, you know, like, the Jedi have lost their way. This isn't peace. They're the keepers of the peace. You know, defense and knowledge is what they're supposed to use the Force for. And no, they're just lightsabering the crap out of a bunch of droids. I just love everything about the Clone Wars. And I think clone troopers are rad and sad at the same time. Star Wars. I'm also here for Dave Filoni's mess, and I know it bothers some people that he just keeps inserting his OCs. I like all of his OCs. They're some of my favorite Star Wars characters. So
Yeah.
His OCs are stamped by approval of George Lucas, which may or may not impress you if you hate George Lucas, which a lot of you do.
Not so long time ago, in a galaxy pretty close by, Luke Skywalker was someone's OC.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Lucas. His name is Luke.
His name is Lucas.
Motherfucker's not even burying it. At least Dave Filoni hasn't had baloney.
No, but he has
his name's half of
Filoni.
them wolves.
He has named 3 characters Wolf something. So I'm sorry,
Filoni.
one of them is Trapper Wolf. Then there's Commander Wolf, and then there's Loth Wolves.
Well,
they're
and
not
Axe
even-
Wolves is totally
Axe
just
Wolves, yeah.
Not even wolf in different languages, it's just the name wolf with other words around it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's Elden Ring has 2 characters that are named Wolf, but one of them is Blide and the other is Lobo.
In Ahsoka, he has 2 characters who are named after Norse wolves. Whose names aren't Wolf, but they are wolf names. Dude is a living three moon wolf shirt. Like,
Yes.
God damn it, Moon.
He is a Sabian cowboy hat.
Oh, wasn't in Rebels? What's his name?
Wolf, probably.
Yeah, like the one of the original characters' names, like his name was Caleb, which is
oh, it's Caleb Doom is
Doom.
Kanan Jarrus's real name.
yeah.
Which is a revelation, except if you read the comic book, which came out like 4 years before that, you're like, yeah, I know his name. Caleb Doom is frankly cooler than Kanan Jarrus. They're both pretty rad, though.
Anyway, welcome to the Wolfcast, where we talk about wolves.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the wolves are the wisest, most force-sensitive creatures. Like, it's just like, oh my god, dude. Like, we get it. You like wolves.
Hobby. Yeah.
His cameo character in The Mandalorian is named Trapper Wolf. Like, it's just like you're a parody of yourself at this point. But I also love everything you've ever touched. So, which is also to say, if you have never watched Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi because you think, quote, they're for kids, the most heartbreaking Star Wars scenes I can think of episodes and start to tear up. Like, it's just beautiful. It's about, like, I saw someone be like basically comparing The Mandalorian, which I like. It's funny and silly, but like, which is just, it's Din and Grogu going on an adventure of the week. Meanwhile, the Bad Batch is dealing with veteran abuse, the rise of fascism. Like, it handles it slightly sometimes. It's very serious. Like, it's a very serious show. Mind control. Like, there's a lot of, again, there's a whole bit of Cody just trying to reconcile what he did because he thinks he had no choice. Or he thinks he had a choice in the matter when he had no choice to try and kill Obi-Wan, who was his friend. Anyway, Star Wars is great. I love Star Wars. This system, as a reminder, the basics of it are: you take a fistful of D6, you roll them, you add it together. One of them should be a different color or easily identifiable. And if it rolls a 1, there is a complication. If it rolls a 6, you keep rolling, and typically good things happen. That's really it, pretty much. I've looked at a couple different kind of streamlines of it because there's in the first edition you have to like roll dodge and strength and stuff checks. The version I found that seemed the smoothest to me, Hyperspace D6, just gives you static like hit points and defense scores, and it's just a little easier in that way. It also changes a couple rules for like this is how skills work, as opposed to adding dice. Hold on, let me just double check something. No. instead of skills adding dice to your pool, they add pips, which in the original system you could only add +2 to anything. This lets you go up to +6. I would even probably let you go higher. What do I care? So it just kind of streamlines and changes a couple things. That being said, we could also just keep using everyone's existing character sheets and just kind of use the streamlined rules. Like that doesn't really. I don't want to cause a big hassle of everyone being like, hold on, I got to find my original character sheet and I got to rebuild it in something else. That's not the important. The adding the defense and the resolve rule, like the hit point rules and initiative, and kind of streamlining how the force works, where it's not a list of spells you can do. It's the force is used in many mysterious different ways. How do you want to do it? Okay, you make one of these 3 rolls, kind of thing. Like, it's still control, alter, sense. Because that really does very well, I think, sum up the things the force does. It's either affecting reality, reaching out with your mind, or looking internally and controlling your emotions. So does that sound the best version of it to everyone, so we're not just redoing a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
The original
less
system is
rebuilding we have to do, the better, because
Val
droids is a thing.
And granted, in this version, Val as she is wouldn't be quite the same thing. Like, this version kind of takes away that specialization for droids rules, which is kind of the coolest thing of it. Like, no edition past first edition builds droids the way first edition does. But I really like that first edition builds droids in a weird way, because droids are supposed to be very specialized. Like, that's the appeal of droids is, yes, this thing is, Val is all sensors. In a way a human can't be, because she's a droid. Like, so why not play up the kind of, what would you use a droid for?
Assassinations and spelunking.
Right. Right.
And childcare.
We go in a couple cases at one time.
Naturally.
When I had to collapse.
Right. You had to do that a couple times.
I only remember collapsing the one.
We in the Dark Side Cave, you collapsed a bunch of stuff on Cad Bane's droids.
All right.
You were shooting pillars.
Go me.
And if you haven't watched our original campaign, I just rewatched it, and to toot our own horn, it's pretty great. There's a lot of really fun, rad stuff happening in there.
I think it's very good Star Wars.
I agree, and I'm proud of all of us. So,
yeah.
Okay, so there's that. We won't have to... Oh, you will upgrade your characters a little bit. It's been a year since the last episode of Galaxy and Revolt. So, oh, crap, Jay.
Where are they?
I moved my desk around recently.
Pop quiz, where are the Skelehans?
Oh, no.
Oh, Marty gotcha.
Marty got him.
Oh, thank God, Marty.
Do I have to dab with them? What am I...
You just need to take them.
you can.
Where the hell? They're around here somewhere. They have to be. Oh, there they are. Okay, good.
I vamped long enough.
Thank you, Marty. There we go. Now, quick, high five.
Oh, wait. Which side of me are you on?
Oh, wait. I'm above you. I'm looking on Discord.
There we
It's
go.
different than the overlay. There we go.
There we go.
Excellent. You all have advanced. Roz, I'm still thinking you'll be a Padawan unless you would like to upgrade tonight. But I think the Padawan kind of master relationship, one, is still really interesting, of just the variety of ways you've been interacting. And I think during the war, especially, it will kind of push itself into interesting places. But it is your choice to be like, no, I'd rather be a Jedi Knight at this point.
I mean, I know lore-wise, I think I read somewhere that one of the things the Jedi did was just like graduate a bunch of Padawans who probably weren't ready into Jedi Knights because they just kept losing all of them.
A lot of Jedi die during the Battle of Geonosis. Like, it's not great. So,
Wait,
But I don't know
we can do that?
there's the
Actually, this would have probably been Yoda, so die we can? Do
what?
that we are able?
Oh, no.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's funnier if it's like, yeah, Raj just got promoted when she wasn't supposed to, or if like Yoda took one look at her like, no,
You're still like, I mean, she's like almost an adult, but like, and they clearly start doing that thing. It's just like, you've been through a lot. You're a Jedi Knight now. Like, you don't have to go through the formal trials anymore. Like, Anakin's just sort of made a Jedi Knight. Like, he's clearly not ready. But
he lost an arm, so it's like, yeah, you're okay.
There you go, kid.
Painted you blue, you went in a cave. What else do you want to do?
That's not canon anymore.
Fair enough.
Because I tried to figure it out. I don't think there's a canon reason for him becoming a Jedi Knight anymore. He just does. Like,
But I do think the conscription and your relationship with Val, I think, targets you for that kind of like, oh, we're wasting you. Just coddling this old woman from not committing suicide or whatever we were worried about. You can do better things. We would still be like the way that Obi-Wan and Anakin continue to be a team and work together. I think we can still have that relationship without it needing to necessarily be Master and Padawan.
Right.
But I'm here for either, literally how you want to roll. But I'm ready for Ros to fly. But I also think there's a lot of comedy and story beats in you still being my Padawan. Or Obi-Wan being like, you, not you.
Just listing a bunch of people. Step forward.
The Booster Gold episode of Justice League Unlimited, where Martian Manhunter lists every. And my favorite is there's a long beat and he goes, vibe. And like, by the time you've gotten to vibe, you've lost bud. Anyway.
Or maybe it's something that happens during the season.
Yeah, and I think that's
absolutely
that's pretty great too. Just like, but and the other thing is, even as a Padawan, Ahsoka is a commander in the Clone Wars.
Yes,
she showed up, was assigned to Anakin, and was also like, I have a battalion of clones under my command. Are you 12?
No.
Yes, but I'm one of the competent characters in the series, which is why I'm not allowed to do anything.
Yes.
Yo.
So
she gets to wear midriff-bearing shirts or whatever.
Don't.
I mean, good for her.
Worry about it. They've redesigned her during that period, thankfully. Now, if they could just go back and animate all the episodes in the Tales of the Jedi style, that would be great, actually. Obi-Wan's got a mullet in it. Awesome.
Again, she's subscribing to the Kill la Kill.
Togruta run hot, I guess.
Yeah, look, clearly. Them and Twi'leks, you can't keep sweaters on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, Sakura, what kind of Jedi outfit is this?
Twi'leks are defined by the more clothes they have on, the more their skin is covered, the more evil they are.
That's true. Yep, Bib Fortuna.
Wait.
Yeah, Champ Simdula is always wearing some, sleeveless shirt that's got his abs showing or whatever. He's pretty cool.
They know what they're got, and they're not afraid to show it.
That's right.
If you got it, flaunt it, man.
We'd all do it if we could.
So what did we decide?
I think we just came to a consensus that Twi'lek hot.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to be shown. Hera's hot. She's in baggy coveralls. She can get it.
And she's played by Mew.
What did we
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, what did we decide?
Well, no, because I definitely think that's a discussion in motion. Apparently, because I walked away for a second to refresh my Coruscant screensaver that I have on in my big screen TV to get in the mood. You understand? But also, I understand there was some talk about whether or not to bring Azuli or Master Vu. Is that like so? I think there's still much. I think that's still a conversation in motion because I have a couple decision points on my character that. Now that I've remembered where they left off in the arc that I had for them, I'm still not sure what to do next. So I think, yeah, there's a lot to be discussed of like, where do we want these characters in the Clone Wars, and which characters do we want? And I wouldn't consider that exclusive. If we do not do an all Clone Squadron episode or two of this show, we've done something wrong, in my opinion.
Yes.
I know we named a bunch of them.
We did. I wrote down. I wrote down.
I
some of
did.
Liz's
I
names.
remember Bart,
There's Bart.
Bart,
Bebop
Jammy,
and Rocksteady,
Bart, Jammy.
but they don't like each other. They don't
Bebop.
hang out.
Ness. Yep. Yep. And we can. I have a whole list of clone names.
fighting 420 apparently.
Right. We
And the Sneaky
With a
69.
fighting 420.
do we want to? Is that what we for sure want to do? I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But do we want to be the fighting 420?
Oh,
I mean, that is
501's already
tomorrow, so-
taken.
Right, but there are more than 4 numbers.
Nope, that's it.
Obi-Wan commands the 313. I think.
No.
They might be the 312. I can't remember. Something like that. Clone Force 99. There's only 5 of them.
There's only 199. Yeah.
One of the things that will always make me cry. The 7th Sky Brigade. I think that might be. I can't remember who. That might be Ayla Secura's. Or no, that might be Wolf
I think that one was.
and Plo Koon.
Yeah, Plo Koon's got an aerial.
Yeah, I think so because he flies when he dies.
Yes. Because he flies when he dies.
Yeah. But no, if you want to be the fighting 420, almost certainly that's not in canon because they probably wouldn't. But
By the way, I love how there's no one less prepared to be jumped by all their clones than Ayla Secura. Like, she doesn't even have her saber out by the time she's just dead. It's like, wow, Ayla.
yeah, Plo Koon's at least in a spaceship. Like, there's not a lot he can do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
He
Yeah, because
senses it coming, at least,
Yeah.
before he's like, wait, what are you guys doing?
he deflects a couple. What?
Ayla Secura's like, wow, we're in a wonderful mushroom forest. Dead.
They're on Felucia.
Are we just going to pretend Aiden didn't know the name the whole time?
Sure.
Ki-Adi-Mudi's on Magneto. Anyway,
What were they fly? What was Plo Koon flying around then? And were they over?
Ring
What was-
World.
Lots
There's
of
a,
quizzes today.
like, it's Cities on Rings, right? Is the
yeah, I actually don't know where Plo Koon was. Sorry.
well, what a dum dum.
I can't believe you failed like this.
Where Plo Koon die
What's
where?
Robo Football in Star Wars called?
Okay, Kato Nemoidia.
Gesundheit.
He's for where the Nemoidians are
Presumably where the
Yeah.
Nemoidians are from. Yeah. All right.
from. And then Stasa Lee's the one on the speeder bikes, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
I don't have any ideas, so I'm just gonna smile and nod.
okay. What were we talking about? Okay.
Doing an all clones episode.
So we will definitely do an all clones episode. I
mean,
like
Maybe, possibly, we'll see.
I love the clones so much. Like I almost want someone to be like, "Can someone else run it? I would like to be a clone, please." But Marty,
about it. If I didn't want to be a clone so bad, I'd have agreed already. But yes, we can talk. Have your people call my people, because
is that me calling you?
I will. Yes, actually. And really, just text. But yeah, and everyone will fall in love with all of your characters within 20 minutes, and then you'll all be dead.
Yeah.
We call it cloning.
Yay!
And I'll say
Call
something
it the
rad like,
clone.
"I don't take prisoners," and blow up a bunch of battle droids around me.
Yes.
R.I.P. Heavy. That's like episode 2.
Yeah.
Another heart-wrenching moment.
So yeah, it's been a year since we've
Yes.
seen these characters.
Mhm.
Azuli, Martha, and the Mandos has been interstitial, but was still pre-Clone Wars, right? That's
Yes,
pre-Attack of the Clones.
it takes place a couple months after. Okay, Martha and the Mandos actually takes place between Episode 5 of Galaxy and Revolt and Episode 6.
Okay,
Okay.
it's a real Rogue One situation.
Right.
Um,
So, because there's a year between Episode 5 of Galaxy and Revolt and Episode 6. So we are now in 22 BBY. And we will pick up right at the start of the Clone Wars. So yeah, there's been a year. Question for... I think Orlena is probably a no, but you feel free to tell me otherwise. Question for Kaya and Ros. Were you at the Battle of Geonosis? Or were you somewhere far enough away that the Jedi couldn't call you in until after the first battle of the Clone Wars? Begun these Clone Wars have.
Oh, I just don't know how we snuck Val there if we were there.
I mean, as long as she doesn't make planetfall, if she stays airborne, she's real good at being sneaky there. As soon as she lands, all subtlety is out the window.
I have some ideas for where I want my arc to land, so that can go either way with me. So, Roz, if you have a strong feeling about if you want it to be... Because we don't have to be the ones in the arena either, because waves come in with the clone troopers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I
mean, it does seem like our MO that we wouldn't get invited to the Battle of Geonosis.
Yeah.
Especially where especially since where we left off, where we're like, what was it? What did we do?
I think we found the evil cave on Coruscant.
I determined there are no Jedi left.
Yeah.
What do you mean I stopped being invited to the party?
And that you were gonna save the Jedi, and everybody went,
right,
"What?"
Save the Jedi.
And then
all of us
you walked off
on,
into
and
the
then you walked
sunset.
off, and the credits theme went with you.
That's right.
Kaya's
Doppler
episode.
effect
How are we
fading
going to
into
get
the
home?
distance as Kyle walks off.
Just sitting in the land speeder, waiting like, that's right, you started honking the horn.
Yeah.
Laura Jade's here for some reason.
My favorite part of that bit was when you were like, "I turned on the air conditioning. I'm cold.
I'm cold now.
Why did you turn on the AC?
I also kept
It was hot."
I kept picturing as you were walking away, it was like the outro theme, but it was almost like confused, like ba, 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 ba.
We played the Twin Sons theme? I mean, I don't know. Just the mournful
The
one?
horn segment written with I've never seen question marks in music notation before, but we did it for this version.
John Williams keeps shrugging? Is this what you want?
Just keep going.
So I
When
think
she's on about either, I'm just here to conduct.
so I think if you went around saying, by the way, the Jedi are all gone and I'm here to save them, we might be, sent off to a faraway planet.
You're out in the outer rim somewhere, and then but then they have to call you to be like,
They have to.
crap, we need like when the Clone Wars actually start, like, crap. Okay,
Yeah.
you're technically a general. You get to fight in 420.
Actually, and a better reason to not be there, though I wouldn't mind being closer to Anakin, is the last I heard, Count Dooku is looking for me. So, and has a message for me. So if I'm there and Count Dooku, like I'm watching him fight with a red lightsaber at any given point, it might bury some of the lead on what I think is an interesting story there. So, so yeah, not witnessing it firsthand, I actually think benefits my character the most.
Okay. Yeah, and then you hear secondhand, like, did you hear Count Dooku didn't just leave? He's a Sith Lord now.
Right.
Because there's a whole debate over... Basically, the debate is... Generally, it is ascribed in the Jedi Order. Count Dooku is the Sith Lord. He trained Darth Maul.
Right.
And then he's trained Asajj Ventress. like they don't understand that she's not technically a Sith. She's an assassin that eventually Palpatine's just like, get rid of her. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not having you train a person who can kill me. Like,
quit hiring assassins to kill me.
And because Dooku is a good...
You think I started this shit yesterday?
Yeah. And because...
I murdered my Sith dad long before I even thought to train you, buddy.
Dooku's such a weirdo because he's basically loyal to Palpatine. It's just like, oh, honey, no.
Well, but well, and we can discuss this more off stream, but I think his appeal to Obi-Wan is legit, though. He's kind of like, hey, you know me, we can maybe fuck that guy.
See, I don't know.
He tells him the whole plan, and I think he's doing that in an earnest appeal of like, you and I could do it instead. But I think it's intentionally ambiguous because he's playing it.
I always thought it was more that it's just like, I'm going to tell you the obvious plan, and as soon as you see that red lightsaber, you won't believe a word of it. So I'm telling you the truth and purposefully throwing you off the scent.
Real Brandon Sanderson move,
right? So, because there's actually. Revenge of the Sith novelization is really good, everybody. But there's a whole like internal monologue that Dooku has when Anakin's about to kill him, and Christopher Lee does it in the movie where he looks at Palpatine, and you can see across his face like, oh, I messed up big time. Like this was the plan always, and I threw my life away for this dumb. Like, do it.
Cut down in his prime.
Cut
down in his prime.
My favorite line.
That episode was great.
One of my favorite lines in Star Wars is Christopher Lloyd, a 1,000,000-year-old man, being like, Count Dooku was killed in his prime. The 90-year-old Dracula? Love it. Like, just that is very funny to me.
I mean, according to the 120-year-old time traveler. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't watched any of it.
That's basically, Christopher Lloyd has been old my entire life, and I find that fascinating.
Yes.
I think no to Geonosis.
Okay.
Because I want to hold open doubts about Dooku, because I knew Dooku when he was cool, because my best friend / possibly unrequited crush Qui-Gon, who, if Qui-Gon can die, the Force is bullshit, was my arc going into this series.
Have we ever talked about Dooku's first apprentice?
On the stream?
No. Dooku is Yaddle's apprentice.
Right. Okay.
So
that's duh.
Yes. Which also, by the way, if you've not watched Tales of the Jedi, it's shockingly relevant to this stream.
It's an episode of this stream.
Yeah, like it's so relevant.
Yes.
And in our canon, Kai Kadath was trained by Yaddle. Dooku's first Jedi apprentice is this dude named Rael Averross, and he is super bizarre, and he's just like, yeah, I like smoking, and I like doing it, and he's just like, yeah, I can do it, because that's not forming an attachment, because it doesn't mean anything to me, bro, and he's like, chugging down a death stick, and I'm like, aren't you like 70? Like, why are you banging this, like, what is happening? And it's like, Qui-Gon's like, this is weird. You seem weird. And Rael is just basically like, lighten up, man. Like, he's supposed to be like a cool Uncle Jedi, and you're just kind of like, I think you're sad. I think you're actually sad. But
congratulations, you're the Uncle Rico of Jedi.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. Very good book. She's a very good Star Wars writer.
See, I want there to be some ambiguity. So I'm going to launch right into it, because I think where Kaya's at, and you asked me a question of does she wear armor, and that's really prompted me to go on this whole journey. I think,
as it should. That was the point.
As it should. As it should. I think she's still ambiguous about Dooku, because, again, like, when they were having the cool kid, like, Padawan parties, Dooku was one of the ones who was kind of like, hey, question everything, like, kind of like, yeah, what is the Force? We're staying up late.
A miserable
freaking
pile
calf.
of secrets.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I met one of his apprentices, the Chiss.
Yeah. Severance Tan is a Chiss, yes.
Had an old lady stare down, which I really appreciate. But so I think there's some ambiguity as to what Dooku's plan is, and she's not fully prepared to be like, well, he's clearly like, she kind of doesn't buy the party line, even though Jocasta Nu refuses to say anything else. And we're cool. We have tea. And I think I don't like Obi-Wan, but I'm starting to come around on Anakin. Because this is my thought. So I don't think I wear armor because I noticed the way that this fuckable doll of a dude just throws himself out of windows being like, I don't know, the Force will catch me. And it works every fucking time. So you know what? Maybe the Force isn't bullshit. Maybe you just need to throw yourself off some windows. So I think Kaya is coming around to, you can just make the Force do it. And my problem is that I've had this lack of faith because once if Qui-Gon could die, the Force was nothing. And now I know the Jedi are dead, so it wasn't Qui-Gon's fault. It wasn't that Qui-Gon wasn't strong enough in the Force. It's that he didn't hurl himself out of more windows.
He did not practice the ancient Jedi art of defenestration.
So yes. So I think I want Kaya to kind of be in a slightly more dangerous place of like, no, screw it. We can do it if we just say we can.
Do or do not. There is no try.
That's right. Apparently there's no fucking middle ground, you little swamp wizard turd.
I think about that a lot. It's not a helpful thing to say. At the same time, I do understand what he means. Like,
let's all let Jay swallow real quick.
That was mean.
Yeah,
Where you timed that.
It's not like just when he tells Anakin, well, just don't be sad. It's not helpful. At the same time, it's just like, I get what you mean. You could just not talk like that. Yaddle doesn't talk like this.
By the way, we're not talking about it. So yeah, I think, again, I resent Obi-Wan because he survived and gets to be a hero of that fight somehow. And I think I'm starting to be like, well, Qui-Gon believed in this kid, and he just hurls himself out of things shirtless. So I guess that's how the Force works now. You just tell it what to do. Which again, the novelizations of the prequels are particularly good. In general, they really add a lot of that's an interesting take on that scene that isn't inherent.
They really add a lot of interesting context because the novelizations imply like Obi-Wan trusts fully in the Force and just lets it guide him. Anakin is so strong; he is crushing the Force into doing whatever he subconsciously wants it to do. It's not that he trusts in the Force and it's guiding him. No, it obeys his every command, and that's why it always works out.
Yeah,
he just makes it happen. And that
ever since, that's really violently changed my outlook on the entire prequels because it tracks with everything that George does in them. By the way, the prequels are rad, and I am older than everyone else here, so I saw the original first. Phantom Menace is a good time. You're not going to have a bad time. Unless you have a bad time, in which case, I'm sorry.
Anakin had a vision board, really got into Oprah, the Oprah of it all. And he was really
Anakin
just seeing it through.
Would have read The Secret, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I should go for it with Padme.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to levitate this pear at her. That's a good move. Wizard.
Wizard. Hate sand, I love race cars. Anakin.
You're going to get out. There was.
Go ahead.
No, they're not. They haven't been canon for a million years. But I used to read when I was a kid. They were like the Jedi Apprentice books, and the first bunch of them are about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan as young people, and then it eventually switches to Obi-Wan and Anakin. And basically nobody in the Jedi Temple likes Anakin. He just spends all of his time in his room fixing droids, and everyone's like, "Oh, the weirdo!"
That tracks.
Ooh, the weird slave kid you read.
Why is he allowed to be a Jedi?
One of the cracked videos with Daniel O'Brien where he's just kind of like, cool, here's this kid you hate. Introducing Anakin to the council. Like, yeah, that's about it. They never really get over that fully.
There's this kid you hate. He's terrifyingly powerful.
Yeah, he makes the Force do things.
Well, and he's when they're testing him, he's just 2 cards ahead of them. He's literally seeing the future. He can't see the card you have because he's ahead of you.
Yes. One of my favorite details of the Phantom Menace in particular, the prequels, is...
Yeah, but Mace Windu clearly hates that kid. He calls him Skywalker the whole time. Like, he never calls him Anakin, ever. Like, show him a kindness. Nope. Skywalker.
One person show this damaged little idiot a kindness, please.
One person did. Unfortunately, it's
the worst person
E. Palpatine.
Good old Shiv.
Okay. So, time is okay. Cool. So Kaya and Ros were off planet, or off Geonosis rather, probably out in the outer rim somewhere, handling a border dispute or some nonsense. Called back in. You probably got the call to be like, quick, everybody, 420 on Geonosis. Yeah. You get there and you're assigned a clone battalion. It seems like Ros is still currently a Padawan, but they might field promote her in the night at any second.
Yeah.
Why are we the fighting 420 when we could be the blazing 420?
Oh, there it is.
Bring it. You're losing control of your own show, Andy.
Skelly dab. Wake and bake, everybody. Anyway, I know a lot about drugs.
That's the most sober person in the world.
Yup.
Andy is our expert on drugs.
I'm crushing them death sticks.
Got it.
I also don't think death sticks are actually sticks. I'm pretty sure it's a liquid you drink. Because George Lucas is a weirdo. Anyway.
It's not our George Lucas.
Papa Noida or whatever his weird insert is. Okay. So there's that. We talked about this briefly last time, but Val is basically a lieutenant. Marty asked about being a sleeper agent, and that's something that needs to be brought up in character, basically. Like, that needs to be a moment in role-playing. So let's go to then the question of it all, CC. Who you bringing? Creating a third character, which is fine, by the way. I'm not joking. You can do that.
Have power to make a pig lesbian very, very happy.
Yeah, you can be Captain Bart. Like, that's perfectly fine. Be the clone you all want to be.
Really fuck with the cans.
Yeah. So I am kind of conflicted because we did leave off Martha and the Mandos with, Azuli was planning to go and find Kaya and be like, hey, a space Dracula's looking for you, basically. Like, because, he kind of freaked her out a bit,
Dooku?
Knowing...
Really?
Such an affable person he is.
He's so pleasant.
So, she did kind of leave off in a place where it's like, she could go back. But yeah, I'm kind of conflicted at Orlena also kind of left off still hanging with the group. So it's kind of like my thought changed from definitely Azuli. She's got to get back, she's got to go and tell Kaya this stuff to or do I maybe start off with Orlena and then kind of naturally when there would be a chance for Azuli to show up, would it be I kind of switch if that would be an okay thing to do?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Now, because, and we kind of talked about it last time, there would certainly be pressure for you to go into the field. At the same time, there are Jedi who aren't actively fight. Like, Shakti is just hanging out on Camino. Like,
Yeah.
she oversees clone production. Jocasta Nu doesn't leave the library still. Survivor of Order 66, the librarian.
Anytime someone takes a book out, Jocasta Nu insists that it stopped existing. That's some good Jocasta Nu humor for everybody at home.
If we don't
Look
have
her up,
it,
she
it does not exist.
Yeah.
Shitty
Look her up. She
librarian.
survived Order 66 somehow. Probably because she stopped existing.
Everyone forgot she was there. They knew that if they just boarded up the doors to the library, she wouldn't leave.
Yeah. Took herself out of the records, and
I'm pretty sure she does.
she does survive Order
Okay.
66. You know it drives me nuts. And I like Jocasta Nu.
Well,
alright,
okay,
but
because we have talked about this. I'm perfectly okay with Jedi surviving Order 66 because they're Jedi off planet, but the circle should shrink pretty tight when Darth Vader starts being like, I'm going to hunt all of them down, and he gets a lot of them.
yeah.
He does get a lot of them, and I won't spoil Rebels, but it does take off those Jedi off the board in a way that it does leave Luke, Ben, and Yoda as basically the only real Jedi available in A New Hope. Other than, because Ahsoka's, spoilers, something happens to Ahsoka. We don't know about Cal Kestis yet, but I think he gets frozen in time, probably.
Probably.
And I think that's
Need to wait to the sequel to that when it's coming out.
It is, yeah. And I think, I think he will, I think he's going to get Captain
Find some way to
America.
trip and fall into carbonite. Yeah.
I think he's going to get Captain America so he can then show up in the New Republic timeline.
Yeah, look, I prefer the simplicity and the mythology of there's 2 to 2, and eventually there's 1 to 1, and the one's such a good guy he throws away his lightsaber, and it's like, fuck you, dude. Actually, I'm willing to die on this stupid death station you built. That's still my favorite part of that story. If you zoom out and try to make more content or look at it through realism, which is not realistic, it's just the realism of the universe. Of course, dozens of these motherfuckers would survive. Like, so I exist in a liminal space of like, yeah, but the mythology is so clean and beautiful and tells such a wonderful story. And
like poetry,
you're a Cal Kestis, you get to survive. It's fine. Yeah, Kanan, I guess, get on the fucking bus.
Kanan wasn't fully a Jedi, though. He's a little kid who runs away. Like,
no, yes,
like,
and that's fine. And it's littered with little kids who run away. And of course there'd be little kids who run away.
Yeah.
That fucking stupid baby I hate, he gets shipped off.
well, his pram is indestructible somehow. I don't know why they didn't make all Jedi stuff out of that.
Yeah, why don't we start doing that? Why don't we start making our own droidicas, you idiots? Anyway, the Jedi are really smart and brave.
They are one of those things.
Powerful and masculine lobby.
Anyway, so CC, do you want to start as Orlena and then transition, basically do like 3 or 4 episodes and transition into Azul? We'll meet Azuli on a planet or whatever.
Yeah, I think, if there is a natural transition point for her to kind of come back, then I think that would maybe make more sense than where both of those stories kind of currently left off. With me just jumping right back into, hey,
Well,
Azuli is here.
Even if Azuli's top priority was to go track down Kaya, which why would it necessarily be? But then a Clone War breaks out.
Yeah,
They're not just putting on the Jedi bulletin board where we've positioned our troops right now.
Even if Azuli shows up on Coruscant and like knocks on the Jedi Temple front door, they're going to be like, "You're asking us where basically our spies are? No, we don't release that information to the public."
Yeah.
No, it's
so
cool. I know her. I don't think that's cool. Aren't you a witch? Please leave.
No, you see, we go way back.
Yeah.
Found
So,
giant.
yeah, I think there's
Yeah, I jumped off a cliff with her
room
once.
for that. Again, I think of the way this show's going to go for a minute, if, fingers crossed, is like the Clone Wars itself. Like, we can mix and match the cast, we can tell different arcs, and then come back, 3 months later. Trouble on...
I'm definitely going to do the announcer. But
Trouble on now, Hudda.
Yeah, we're gonna make it's gonna be very confusing if you're watching it linearly because I'm not gonna go in linear order for time.
Fantastic.
It's my least
Gonna
favorite
make
thing
it real
about Clone
hard on
Wars.
us too.
Oh, it's so confusing. Wait, this episode takes place when? Then why are they all redesigned? Like
She was
Obi-Wan
trying it out.
That's when they were trying it out just to see if they liked the new look. Then they went back to it for a little bit, and they were like, no, that was better. So
Yeah.
I took off and putting on I got my hair cut.
got my hair cut, didn't like it, got it grown back on, realized I liked it, got it cut again.
Obi-Wan's fluctuating wildly between wearing armor and not wearing armor.
So what's Orlena doing in the field, though? That seems like a terrible...
That is a good
Anakin?
question.
Is she just
So-
tracking my expenditures? Because
We call it pulling a Kadaf.
Keeping track of your receipts.
You seem to pay Hutts an awful lot.
that's a good.
Let's talk about that. Let's fill out some paperwork for that. No, I kind of, so I thought about it, and I do think that she would probably occupy more of like a, kind of like a tactician's or, you know, kind of like somebody who kind of like stays back and more of like helps the planning of it all rather than maybe being like up front or in the field, kind of stuff. So.
Yeah,
All right,
tactical
here's our battle
quartermaster.
map. I can't see it.
When we make it out of living creatures, it just helps.
Put a flower on each one. That'll be good.
Got it. Well, so
but
we have
yeah.
to reach the chrysanthemum? Is that what was happening? Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I think she'd be in more of like a, especially since like when I was planning out her fighting style, like her fighting style is very like defensive and tactical. So I think that being the very kind of like, you know, more research paperwork person, that she would take more of like an advisory or like a tactician role or something like that.
Yeah, Andy, you're going to know off the top of your head.
Sure.
What are the droid generals?
They're tactical droids. They're called tactical
Just the tactical droids. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was too simple, but sometimes George Lucas is simple,
Yeah.
and sometimes he's up his own ass. So, but
Sometimes
yeah,
it's
I could see you definitely being a field commander, kind of like you're our answer to them. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh shit, these droids are moving with some intelligence. We know what we've got here. Now we need to counteract that intelligence.
Yeah.
Get us a blind woman.
Oh, but you know Yoda would just be like, yes, but see the most she does.
He's exhausting. He's exhausting.
We're in a war, Yoda. I actually need a straight answer from you.
Very cloudy. Yeah, is it? It's funny how it's very cloudy when I need a straight answer from you.
Uncertain the future is.
All right.
Okay, helpful.
Easy answers there are not.
Yeah, but could there be just this one time? I'm just getting coffee orders, Yoda. Like, I'm trying to use my Starbucks points. Can we just... You want a frappe or not? Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. Let me think.
Oh no, my brain just imagined just like franchise cafes that are all Dexter Jetsters. Like, have my Dexter's rewards card. I get 10 coffees. I get the 11th one free.
No, we changed the system. You don't have to redeem. You earn points you can redeem for certain rewards on certain days of the week. Thanks a lot, Duncan. It's fine.
It's an elegant system.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It rhymes.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have clone trooper names they would like to suggest? I can add them to my list.
No, but I do have a
man.
question that I'm going to need to think of.
Sure.
What happened to the Godel flower merchant Jit?
I mean, she was.
First off, excellent question. Second off, Andy, that you're immediately like, let me go on my mind palace real quick. Yeah, go to merchant shit. Got it.
So, the last we saw her, she was concerned about the separatists because her family back home, there's kind of budding separatism. So I think she would have gone home.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you all can't. Maybe you'll end up on.
Who's making flower crowns for Val now?
What's the Godel homeworld?
I have an answer to that. We'll go there when we actually
fucking
go into
love
it.
Yeah, do they straight up join the Confederacy? Let's see. Okay. There's a bunch of like Confederacy of Independent Systems terrorists on the Godel moon, Antar 4. I looked that up. I don't just know that off the top of my head. I'm not that into it, but so yeah, she's concerned for her family and has gone home during the time. Probably not like immediately. So like when you all get to Coruscant, kind of as the war develops, she'll probably leave. So there can be some interaction between you and her before she goes, but unless you're just like, Andy, I need her to stay, and then she does. Like,
no,
okay.
It was depending upon your answer what was gonna happen. You thought
I can't wait to cry about it.
Thinking about any of my characters ever, you are wrong. They live in my brain rent free, and I cannot get rid of them, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions I can answer? And then I have a question I would like to pose.
Mm-hmm.
So speak of what Jay was just mentioning. In Murder in the City, which of Lorik's brothers is he talking about that he wonders if their father loves most? Did he let YOLO Deep Pockets go?
It's not YOLO Deep Pockets. It's the Stone Sorcerer one, whose name I do not remember off the top of my head. But he was the favorite.
Yeah, I love that you had an answer for that. And I also do not stop thinking about my character. I just heard that on my walk today and choked up while walking.
It is an absolutely stunningly beautiful song.
Yes. Very relevant to some characters. I don't think I have any what is the Godel flower merchant jit doing level of questions at the moment. Does Mace continue to train me in... Shoot, I have to look it up because it has two names. Thanks a lot.
In Super Pew Pew lightsaber fighting instead
Vapod?
of just normal.
Varpod or Joyu?
Well, okay. Technically, Vapod is a different... It is a variation of the Joyu stance.
That is... Varpod is Mace's...
He's the one who's like touching the dark side. It's him and Depa Balaba use it. They basically touch and reject the dark side. So it's easy to fall to the dark side if you use it, but Mace Windu and Depa Balaba are strong enough, or like light side enough that they constantly reject it.
Yeah, I guess my private lessons have dwindled now that he has to general around.
Right, yeah, he's got a lot of stuff to do.
More.
And you use two lightsabers, so you also know Jakai.
Yes.
Which is the two lightsaber fighting style. That's what Ahsoka uses, but she reverse grips it, and it bothers Anakin.
It's a real star killer move.
Yep. I mean, it's his other apprentice, right?
That must drive him nuts.
I believe it does. I think.
Why are both of you like this?
So mad
like,
right
out
now.
Here, forward, reach.
Just gonna singe your backside. God. This is why I'm like this. This is why I'm like this.
That's why neither
I
of
have
you can
trust
ever
issues.
have long hair. You're gonna lose it.
Okay. Here's a question for, I guess, everybody. Do you all keep in contact with, like, Mara Jade or Talon Card at all? Talon Card did say lose his number. That doesn't mean you have to, though.
I'm an old woman. I don't lose anyone's number. You you serve at my suffering. That's interesting. It's been a full year.
Yes.
I think I keep tabs on the girl.
Okay.
If not directly, then I have people. I used to have a Godel flower merchant, but
you do have her for most of a year before she bounces.
Yes. And so, we could even leave it off at that. By the time Jit is going back to Homeworld, it's like, now I need a new spy in the Undercity.
And as promised, Mara Jade occasionally does send a message that's just like, the Chancellor's down here with his weird friend.
Yeah.
His inappropriately aged friend.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like there was like at least a couple months where Val was just keeping in contact with everyone who she could, just because, like, as the war broke out, there was probably a little bit of a debate of, we have what is a separatist droid. Do we take it apart? Do we let it keep doing things? And so she just had to sit in her hangar and wasn't allowed to leave.
I think Tarkin showed up and was just like, you're military property. And the Jedi had to be like, she's not.
No.
Like, but Tarkin's like, typical Jedi. Because he sucks. Spoilers. The evil Nazi guy is not cool.
Wait, what?
I know. As soon as he shows up in Clone Wars, I'm just like, you've always been like this.
Yeah.
At least Yularen is, like, cool in the Clone Wars. Like,
Yeah.
You've just always been this.
yeah.
Yeah, but his conversation with Anakin is chilling to this day.
Oh my
as to, like,
gosh.
why he still is like, this guy's cool. I'll do what this guy says. This guy's making sense. And I'm making sense.
Him agreeing with Tarkin is just like, oh shit. Like, this is excellent writing. Because yes, of course, Anakin. Because also Tarkin's not totally wrong. You're just like, you're an asshole, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, cool. If anyone has any clone trooper names, feel free to send or say them to me.
I'm sure we'll come up with all kinds of dumb bullshit as we're
Yeah.
playing. It'll be the best.
But yeah, I have for sure Bart, Ness, Bebop, Rocksteady, Jammy.
Jamie's got an important job on this group.
And I think I sort of implied Bart is the captain. I don't know if, he probably will be, just because I do. It's very Commander Cody, like Captain Bart. Like it's just very. It seems George Lucasian. It's very old serially.
Rex, Cody, Bart.
Like it feels right.
Captain Bart, all right, let's tell those droids to eat shorts.
Just like
Yeah.
Bart.
I didn't do it.
Don't have a cow, man.
He's gonna be an ARC trooper because I think they're the raddest. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, I asked this last time too. I want, in case this has changed, I got everyone's permission and consent last time. Is Order 66 cool on stream? It's okay if you've changed your mind. It won't be the first episode.
Hopefully not in the first arc, or the first episode, but there's a couple years in this war.
I really briefly did consider it just because I think it would be fascinating. It's not fun, though.
No.
Yeah.
I will not tell you when it's going to happen. That is...
Oh, yeah.
Unless that is your line of just like, I need forewarning that we're about to be Order 66. And then the episode will be called Order 66 or something like that. I'll tell you ahead of time, but...
My opinion may change, but I think I'm cool with it.
I mean, I said at the top of the episode, I'm here for the tragedy. So I'm good with it.
It's one of the most tragic times in this timeline's whole story.
Oh, and that's also going to be real weird because Val's probably got a very interesting relation with the clone troopers already. Oh yeah, I'm going to give you permission to absolutely break my heart.
Ros / Liz.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So it would be nice to have a little forewarning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with not knowing at all.
I can. Well, that's the thing. I can also send. I can always send Liz a message and be like, "Hey, guess what?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Prepare yourself." Okay, cool. I will do that.
And betraying myself, I'm totally cool if Val gets Ros out of there and Ros survives.
See, ultimately,
then they immediately have to fall into carbonite for 40 years.
Well, okay. I have a whole multi-year arc planned for this show.
Okay.
Galaxy and Revolt.
A good time.
During the dark times will instead be it will transition into a new show called Galaxy on Fire.
Okay.
And I ultimately hope that Ros does survive into the dark times because I think it's interesting. There is no guarantee she makes it out of the dark times. Mm-hmm. She's going to have Inquisitors. She's going to have Darth Vader showing up being like, yes, you also like droids. That's pretty rad. Would you like to be an Inquisitor? You get a cool lightsaber. You can fly.
Yo, you actually seem pretty cool. How are you with race car? Anyway.
Because my dad...
depends on the answer.
My dad, the Emperor,
won't
let me race anymore. It's bullshit, man. You're
I just
bullshit,
want somebody
dude.
to talk about my one hobby with,
dude.
okay?
You ever want to say that to the Emperor? I don't, but like just in case.
You're cool.
You're cool.
Aren't you like 50?
I like your race car droid.
You're never too old to be an angsty teen.
Yeah. So yeah, I fully expect Val and Ros to maybe survive into the dark times. Again, partially because I think Kaya's going to pull a Depa Balaba and be like, "Run." I will hold them off, but run. Like,
yeah, this poor old woman's life is all but forfeit.
Yeah.
She's constantly figuring out renewed ways to still not get it. To get some of the point, but miss most of it. So
you're so close, honey. You're so close. Just a little further, and it's nope. I'm going to save the Jedi.
Also,
and we lost her.
But are they worth saving? Come back. Address the question.
But there are no Jedi.
Right, but what you're doing... Never mind. You know what? You think about it, please. I understand you're cold.
The AC's too hot. Somebody get in this car.
Okay. 66. Star Wars is cool.
I am going to send you, Andy, a direct one-sentence wish. It does not need to be in the first episode or arc. In fact, I think it will pay off better. But
okay, yeah, and that is it. That's a, and this can be messaged to me privately. But like, what do you all want? Like, if it's just hanging out with clones and doing fun Clone Wars adventures, because the Clone Wars are fun in a horrible way, where you're reminded...
I'd like at least one of them. of just mowing down fucking droids and having a boss time with our droid armies. But if this doesn't get complicated quickly as far as like separatist children are being drowned in a cave, we've got to go save them. Like I want that too, but yeah, look, at least one of these things has to be flipping between droid tanks and being awesome.
Yeah, I want, and there's a moment
that can be the opening, and we can move past.
Yeah.
I just want one of that.
Yeah.
There's a moment in the first arc where Marty says like, "I am Jedi," like because you just do all these rad, and I want that. Like I want everyone to feel cool. The Clone Wars, like it can only be a cartoon because Ahsoka's falling from a fucking Y-wing that crashed, lands on a Star Destroyer, does a roll, and something explodes behind her, and she's totally cool. Like, that would never happen in a Star Wars movie. Like, I want that to happen. Like, I want it to be cool, and then at the same time be like, oh, some, like, separatists have a point of view. Like, a lot of them have legitimate grievances with the Republic. The Republic kind of sucks, especially because, this dude's made himself an emperor already. Like, you all have already lost, and the only person who sees that apparently is Padme and Bail. But Bail's too nice, basically. Padme is just like, I don't care who I have to shiv. Y'all suck.
I'll shiv Sheev. I'll shiv Shiv.
Oh, punch Rush Clovis in the face? That guy sucks.
I did think about it, going to the, badass flipping through tanks. Val has probably gotten in the habit of just stepping on droidicas for the Jedi. Just I'm going to jump up and smash this thing through its shield, because otherwise you guys are going to have a trouble time with it.
These seem to give you trouble.
Oh, two at once.
Now, I remember the question being asked to Jay how Val feels about, this droid on droid violence. But have we asked Ros what she feels? Because she's friend to the droids. And this isn't something that needs to be answered right now. It can be answered in play also. But just kind of wanted to pose that question as well.
Understands that self-defense is a thing, and if these droids are attacking people, they have the right to defend themselves. That doesn't stop her from maybe getting sneakily taking a few of the not completely destroyed droids and trying to reprogram them.
On the same page with this. At this point, I imagine Val's hangar is just covered in service droids. There's some buzz droids, there's some mouse droids, there's one or two pit droids rolling around.
Oh my god.
Yes. They have a shelter for discarded service droids.
Does Val selectively help her out with that then?
A little bit.
Oh, this one's
It
good.
started as a project to help keep her company when she was just stuck in the hangar.
I think Ros would have taken out or with Val's approval, taken out some of made a little basket, I guess, on top. I forget what the word is. Made a little space where she just shove discarded droids into.
Like a harness backpack kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do imagine anytime Ros leaves the Jedi Temple, before she does, she opens her door and just a fleet of mouse droids just leave. Okay, you go ahead, you guys go play while I'm gone.
Be back by curfew, okay? Especially you, Cheesy 2.
Cheesy 2.
Okay.
I imagine that is spelled CHIZ2.
Yes.
CH1S-2.
There you go.
There you go. Better.
Okay. I feel like I have a good picture of everything. Got some ideas a rolling and a brewing.
Did you want to ask us those political questions that you asked me to prepare?
What did I ask you again?
Politics
Great
in Star
question.
Wars?
And this,
Are you
Clone
sure?
Wars?
Yeah.
This economy?
Just kind of like how each of us feel about the war.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
More
Sorry.
of like, I didn't know if you wanted to go over that now or later, but I did prepare a statement. Let me think about it. So goddamn it.
Now I feel like it would be wasted.
Yes. Okay. So
CC deliver her manifesto.
Yeah. So the war is complicated.
Governments are bullshit. Money's pretend. We made it all up.
I still don't understand which side you're on. Yeah, man, think about it. Aren't they both the same? Oh, wow, okay. Well, one of them has a man named General Grievous who keeps murdering children, and these guys seem a little better about it, so.
Yeah, they don't murder children until the end of the war.
Yeah.
They don't murder children. They just send them to war. It's different.
They just separate them from their families, dude.
They just put them in a position to be murdered.
Okay, Ponkrell.
So you think the Sith got my demo tape, or?
I can't wait until I force you all to team up with Ponkrell before he's even.
Oh no!
I won't. I hate that guy so much.
He's the worst.
Then I also have to give clones numbers, and I'm not doing that.
Sure.
CC, would you like to read from your prepared statement?
Sure. So yeah, you had asked me how like Azuli feels about the war. And is it like political for her at all or anything like that? And so I put that Azuli doesn't like getting involved in all of these politics that she doesn't understand. So while war is certainly a lucrative business for a mercenary such as herself, she feels uneasy about taking any jobs associated with the war at all. So yeah, she is trying to get back to Kaya and is probably going to hitchhike / mercenary her way there. But she does feel like an unease about if any of those jobs involve anything to do with the war at all. And then for Orlena, she is not happy about the war because she doesn't like being pulled out onto the field. She'd rather be back home doing paperwork. So yeah, that's why she's tried to position herself into just kind of like hanging back and doing tacticianal work instead.
Well, and also to tie into the end of last season, there's still that Sith temple underneath the Jedi temple, and that's her whole deal is like dark side, light side kind of like, so that's got to be eating at her a little bit. Like,
yeah, she had immediately thrown herself into studies after getting back from that. Y'all didn't see her for several days. The first few days were doing paperwork having to do with Kaya specifically. After that, it was all studying.
Sometimes you hand your lightsaber to a urchin girl you meet in an alley.
Got to fill out form 460 for that. And
you have to fill out like a change of name form because she lied about her name for half the adventure.
Yeah. I didn't hand her the big one.
Sometimes you do a favor for Talon Card.
Smaller laser sword. It's much safer, right?
Thank you.
So, yeah.
What's this do?
So there's the answer to your question.
Honor Jedi tradition of handing the most dangerous handheld weapon in the galaxy to a child who then immediately points it at their face.
What if I just turned it on real fast? Like, do you think I'm faster than a lightsaber?
I'd say knock yourself out, but you'll be dead.
Okay. Liz, how does Ros feel about the war and sort of the Jedi getting more involved in politics?
She's very uneasy about it, but it's like if Master Kaya is gonna go into fighting, Ros, I guess, is going in too. and the fact that everyone keeps trying to you take apart Val, she would try to like make it so she would stick with Val to make sure that, nothing bad happens to her.
Oh my god. It's so heartbreaking of just like, I need to make her useful. And the usefulness is war. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a perpetual ray of sunshine. Roz is having a lot of internal conflict she doesn't know how to handle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Val doesn't have any of the context for any of the posse, so she's just gonna say, okay.
Yeah.
If that's what you need me to do. Oh my god.
Oh.
Everyone get your Filoni on. Let's do this.
Yeah. This is our good soldiers follow orders right now. You're watching it manifest.
Marty, same question.
That one's harder to reconcile because she's going to have to engage in this war, but it's just further proof that there are no Jedi left. Like, there's a part of this that's building her case, and it's part of it which skewing her to kind of be like, well, Anakin's got the right idea, apparently. Like, which...
Right, yeah. Sort of
I, Marty, hate that I am going to pilot a character who thinks Anakin has the right idea, but I think it's a fun way to take...
Yeah, as alluded to, Anakin and Tarkin are basically like, we're not... Yeah, the Jedi shouldn't be in charge of this. But Anakin's also like... But, like, I don't necessarily have to be a Jedi to be on the side of right and kind of... I can just do this still. Like, maybe I don't need to be a Jedi. I just need to be a lunatic with a lightsaber, and I'm crushing the Force to do whatever I want.
Yeah, and obviously, Kaya has less compunctions about a bunch of droids, which is where a lot of it lies. You can feel free to complicate that the more the Separatists have a point of view. But, yeah, this is nothing personal. If anything, it's further proof that the Jedi are way off where their compass should be. But everyone stopped taking my meetings since I entered the council and was like, Council, I've determined there are no Jedi left. And I'm going to save you all.
Kiani Mundi's like, I'm pretty sure I'm definitely a Jedi.
Pretty sure you're a Jedi?
They make a bunch of special rules for me, so I'm the bestest boy.
I believe I do.
Yeah, you get to have a bunch of wives and an off-color lightsaber. Key, I'm done with you. You and me? Plo Koon, you're cool.
The one everybody likes, Plo Koon.
We think about the Force together, and that's what I like about you.
That's right. Wow. The Force.
The Force. So, yeah, but I do think she's tactical enough to keep it to herself, because Qui-Gon imploded in part because he kept telling the council they were fucking up. So she's a bit keeping it on her own paper. She knows enough not to broadcast. By the way, I think the Jedi are dead. I'm bringing this up in this open air meeting just because. But this whole war is proof of it. But again, at the moment, it's mostly like... it's a bit red versus blue. It's battles in box canyons to control like nebulous territory. Her concern is bigger than that, but first she has to get right with the Force, which is not happening naturally. She's literally forcing it, but tish. But yeah, the war itself, I actually think it's all politics. Like, I don't think she really bothers herself with the sides of it, which I do invite you to introduce Separatists who are challenge, the point of view the way that several of the best Separatist storylines do. But so long as she's not, knocking off Mandalorian pacifists, she has no real reason to be too concerned with the politics of it. She's more concerned with the Jedi Order died long ago, and no one told the Jedi Order.
Yeah, no. Literally, my favorite single episode of the Clone Wars is Heroes on Both Sides, of just making the Separatists not all mustache twirling villains. The mustache twirling villains are very fun. There are still people who are just like, yeah, but the Republic does kind of suck, though. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean Dooku's right. It does mean that maybe we should be thinking about what's happening, because all of a sudden this clone army showed up out of nowhere, and y'all seem pretty cool with it all of a sudden.
Yeah, not a single person's questioning it, I guess. Yeah, and your
Emperor
space monk
Palpatine went, just
peacekeeping
don't
force.
worry about it. And everyone didn't worry about it.
Yeah, your space monk peacekeeping force sucks to be on the other side of, by the way. Every time we disagree with you, a bunch of dudes with laser swords show up and be like, so you're going to sign the paper, and that's cool. Yeah. By the way, isn't Star Wars kind of silly, actually? Observations are not original or new. George Lucas is making them in front of you. That's why you're thinking that. Anyway, that's another thing I've got going on.
Okay. And Val, I think I know the basics of this answer, but what does Val think about all of this and the politics of it? But I think you've kind of alluded to what that answer is.
Yeah, she doesn't really have any frame of reference for politics or what's going on behind it. She has Ros. To an extent, that means she kind of has Kaya. And they are the adults to her being a child. Clearly they would know what's best, right? Right?
Oh,
Giant space baby.
one would hope.
Yeah, and I know Kai is a bit droid racist, but like she will absolutely be on Val's side of kind of like, let her out of there. This is ridiculous. But also might play part villain of kind of like she can get behind enemy lines and blow shit up for us. Like, why wouldn't we be using her? So there is a Tarkin fuck off with this, and there's also we can use the war equipment for war. What better purpose is this? So again, she's middle ground, cool aunt, bad aunt.
That is actually something I'm really interested in seeing, is Val and Kaya kind of interacting more as Val grows. Because, like, with all of her weird sensor stuff, like, Val's spatial awareness and what's going on with her is, like, almost on par with probably what Kaya and Ros can do with the Force if she gets some practice. So it's going to be like this. Is that thing turning alive?
Yes. I expect that to be very interesting. I think we're entering a very interesting time in Star Wars and a very interesting time in this stream's potential to be very interesting about Star Wars. I'm really excited.
Me too.
I just wish the system was just a little... But we're going to try. We're going to try a little bit of a streamline.
I think this, because I really do think the baseline of it is super great. There's one role for everything. It just works. It's that back and forth in combat where it gets fiddly, and the thing that we're going to do just gets rid of all of that. It's
well, and you design an RPG system to let everyone play their wildest dreams about a thing where there's literally only 3 movies at this point,
right?
And
yes.
maybe one cartoon.
You know,
yeah,
absolutely. For the time, it was super popular for a reason. Like and people still play it. Like, people literally still play the old editions from the 80s. It's like that and Marvel's Face Rip are the ones that people like hold to, of just like, you've never made a better superhero role-playing game than Face Rip, or you've never made a better Star Wars than the West End games Star Wars. I think the Fantasy Flight system is very cool. It's super hard to play online.
Yes, its proprietary dice are in the way.
Which
I have a soft spot for Saga Edition, but that's because it's basically Star Wars 3.5.
Yeah. Oh, and in that way, you could totally play whatever you wanted, because 3.5 had such a like granular and complex role-playing or character creation system. It's like, I want to play a very complicated diplomat who has like all of these complicated skills, or I want to be a Jedi and I get to do all these cool Force things. I think 4th edition D&D also would have been very good for, and I think Saga 2.0, whatever it was called, incorporates a lot of stuff that would eventually be in 4th edition.
The cold open to everyone's favorite Mandalorian episode, starring world-class flautist Lizzo and world-class flautist Jack Black, only makes sense because of West End games. Their whole weird foreign calamari Romeo and Juliet directly comes from West End games being like, I don't know, they're from the same planet, I guess. Probably one's bad and one's good because one's a squid and one's a fish.
And I talked about this before, but the Jedi Code comes from West End Games.
Yes, it does.
So many character names come from West End Games. Like, it, and you can still get it on Amazon probably, I hope. But it's a very good system that just clearly is a 35-year-old system, you know? Like, which, again, the fact that people are still hacking it is proof that we made characters on this stream in like 5 minutes. Like, it's just so easy and cool. And I think just it's that back and forth in combat. But like, I love like the idea that you can just take as many actions as you want. You're just crap at them after a while.
Yes.
Love it. Like, that's awesome. Just like, I want to shoot 2 stormtroopers. Okay, that's doable. You're going to be okay. But like, if you want to be Han Solo and run into a room and try and shoot 15 stormtroopers, guess what? You miss.
That's why your wrist is all.
Oh, I forgot the limp wrist jokes.
Harrison, yeah, we were having a conversation. Have you held a gun before? Because it doesn't look like it.
Like a hairdryer, right?
He's a carpenter. He's
sure.
He's drying paint or something.
Drying wood glue. You just got to get all loosey goosey with it. Look, I agreed to be in your stupid movie, Jordan.
Just hold it like a drill. Just hold it like a drill.
No, because then he always puts his other hand behind it.
Yeah. I was told to stop doing that.
Kid, if somebody's worried about your hair, we're in big trouble.
We're in the wrong movie. Kid, your problem is you keep asking permission.
So I'm gonna try and we're gonna use a lot of the stuff from Hyperspace D6. Hyperspace D6, it's free by Matt Click. Check them out on Twitter. It should have a link to this, or just Google Hyperspace D6. But
that gave me a clone trooper name.
Click's a good clone trooper name. Add it to the list.
I would like one of the clone troopers under my command, whether it's my commander or liaison, to be named CT, because I vastly misunderstood when they introduced themselves to me. Yes, ma'am. I'm CT947. Thanks, CT. No, we're kind of all CT. Okay.
Yeah, but you're CT.
Here's actually a weird question that I meant to ask, because you all can just be like, don't do that. In the Clone Wars, because this is also true in the regular military, Sir is not gendered. They refer to all commanding officers as Sir. Is that okay with y'all, or would you prefer me not to do that? Either way is cool.
In this context, I think, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because, like, literally, and I know this because when I was in 8th grade, I was in a very odd play where I played a soldier in the Iraq War in 8th grade. The first Gulf War. And they brought someone in from the military, and the person playing my drill sergeant was a young woman, and the person was just like, we don't call them ma'am, they're all sir. Like, if you have a commanding officer, it's sir. And in the Clone Wars, they call Shaak Ti sir. Like, everyone is just sir.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that
Galactica has sir across the board. I think Dragon Age has sir across the board.
I just wanted to say that. So, like, I'm not purposefully misgendering anyone in a character or anything like that. Sir is commanding officers always. So, and
I'm cool with that.
All 4 of you are playing women. So again, I'm not trying to be like weird. But I did write that down because I wanted to ask. So I'm glad it came up again.
Very good Session 0 stuff to ask. Please don't possess my character with any racist ghosts.
Are you sure?
While we're in session 0. Pretty sure. It doesn't look like a good time, and I feel bad for you every week.
What are you talking about? I tried to walk into lava. I'm having a great time. Every week we talk about how we should kill my character.
One for whether or not to include you in beneficial spells. It's a real great place.
Yeah, always my favorite when
Marty.
Marty's like, I consider you an ally for now.
For now.
Helpful and doesn't... It's not hurtful.
Poor stupid lion, you deserve so much better.
I just want to go home.
To go home to his mom, who's for sure dead.
She's definitely dead. Like, I think I have said that out of character at some point. She is 100p dead.
Yeah.
Which means if I die, I hopefully get to go to the happy hunting grounds away from this stupid racist ghost. So...
A big hunting ground upstate with plenty of room for you to play and run and not have to deal with racist ghosts in your head.
Food
All
can't
kinds of other
hurt
linemen.
me.
Where food doesn't hurt.
I can watch all the plays I want.
Yep.
Okay. We're going a bit late, so I don't want to keep everyone too long. As before, when we start to like roll into combat, I'll kind of go over the bits of it. Character progression.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to remember how character progression works. You know what? I'm just going to use this system because I like this system's character progression. And this is in, I think, the 2nd edition. So a new rule from what we've been playing is something called character points or upgrade points. Basically, I give you experience points at the end of every session. Oh, and you can earn them like advantage and inspiration in 5e. You can earn them through excellent roleplay. You get character points. You can use character points one of 2 ways. One, you can spend 1 to add 1 die to your roll. Or you can use them to increase skills and attributes. So there's a little formula you have to do if you want to spend them that way. It's not very complicated. I will send you what that formula is and how many points you all have.
Okay.
But keep in mind, if you don't want to spend any of them, you can just be like, Issa and be like, I have 9 inspiration and no one can take them from me.
I keep saying really fun things and not needing to roll.
But there will be that. I will also probably just give, like, I in particular, Ros last time, I think just earned some force points because she sort of has the most upward momentum. She's actively training to be a Jedi, you know. At some point, Kaya's kind of hit a somewhat of a ceiling. So Ros will probably get a couple extra, like, hey, just get 2 bonus points in the force or whatever. Like, you get a couple bumps just to your force abilities.
Kaya, who can't figure out how to turn down the AC in the speeder, has hit her ceiling? I beg to differ.
I said sort of.
Support women's wrongs.
Lightsaber that ceiling open. Bo-Katan.
Jesus Christ, Bo. For fucking ever to remember you got a danger sword in your hip.
The only thing I really don't like about The Mandalorian is how eager the Mandalorians are all to take off their helmets.
There was a whole thing about them.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
There's a whole sect of them that don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole Mooney cult.
There's a bunch of stuff happening. I think it's good and fine. It was good and fine this season too. But this season is in particular, it seems like everyone's just like, oh, it's either the best show ever or the worst show ever. It's like, oh, we've devolved into it. Excellent, everyone. It's the same as it always has been.
Same as it ever was.
It's the same as it ever was.
As it ever was.
As the days go by. Anyway.
The Dagobah?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Quickly, to Dagobah.
You may ask yourself, how did I get here? Not my beautiful droids?
Both of them do have green Muppets.
Truth.
Yeah. Okay. think that's a lot of everything. I'll tell you how to, because we're not going to go through it right now. I'll tell you how to get your defense score. Orlena, do you, since we're actually sticking with Orlena, would Orlena wear Jedi armor?
Probably.
Okay.
She's real defensive.
Yeah.
Unless it interfered with her senses, I could see her buying it.
Yeah.
So keep me safe.
So armor works a little differently in this system, and I think it works better, honestly. So basically, you have like a set number of armor dice, and whenever you take damage, you roll the dice and you reduce that number. But if you roll a 6 on that die, you reduce the most damage, but your armor, that die breaks, basically, and you have to repair it. So, so you know, you can be rolling 5s all day. It's the one time you don't really want to roll a 6. At the same time, you also then reduce the most damage you can.
Right. Yeah.
So that means it took a big hit, basically.
Yeah. She's got big armor on that says press. So
it's got the big
No.
It's got the big red cross. Just like
Arena is not allowed to be a danger tourist.
Yeah.
No.
Do you think anyone on either side of this conflict cares about war crimes? Because they don't. Anakin Skywalker be committing war crimes left and right.
Not the least of which is getting a punching contest with your illegal wife's ex-boyfriend using your robot arm.
My favorite. You know it's my favorite. Full lunatic. Starts the fight with a force choke, ends it with a robot fist.
It's a fair fight.
It is a fair fight. Rush is a black banker. Why do you think you can win? He's a war hero.
You won't be saying that while he's picking up his missing teeth with his broken fingers.
Have you seen him shirtless? He's ripped.
Anakin, I'm going to need you to go to your corner.
Padme. I believe
his armor is just insulated with the paperwork you would need to fill out if you murdered her.
More trouble than it's worth. Roger. Fine, where?
Oh, I can't wait to be battle droids again. I love being battle droids so much.
Star Wars is silly. Just accept it. And the battle droids are some of my favorites. When they argue with each other, there is, and I liked it the first time, by the way. I am an original trilogy nerd, but I love the prequel so much. There's one where like a blaster shot blows up a group of battle droids, and as they're being blown apart, one of them's like, Roger. Like, it's just such a sound cue. Ben Burt deserves all the Academy Awards, and that's one of them. Like, just like right there of like best terrible bark. He's blowing up, he's agreeing, like, yep.
Oh, we're gonna have so many fun droid conversations. I can't wait.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I just love that, like, droidicas speak like Nemoidian. Like, how is that useful? Like, they're just like
chirping at it in binary. What are you saying?
What?
Got a weird dialect, my dude. But that, like, the basic droids are all based on Geonosian physiology, which is really cool. Like, what a great detail.
Yeah. Oh man, just. Well, and as we saw in The Mandalorian, I always loved how top-heavy and weird super battle droids are. Like, yeah, you just want to go kick them. like that looks like fun. But then they're
everyone's favorite episode.
Yeah, I loved that episode, and I think
I think it's the best episode.
Everyone
literally
are crazy.
So.
Okay, we've talked so much about Star Wars that I hope we're ready for next month when Galaxy and Revolt will return. I haven't decided if it's going to be episode 11 or season 2, episode 1. I think it's probably going to be that, but
it makes a nicer jumping on point.
I think so.
But
I think it, which is also why I consider it a name change as well. But it might just be Galaxy and Revolt : the Clone Wars : something. I don't know. It's not going to be that. The Bad Batch. Anyway. Thank you all so much for chatting about Star Wars, talking about just my absolute favorite era for all of its heartbreak and sadness. So
we're going to laugh. We're going to cry.
I cannot wait. Outros and plugs. CC.
Hi, I'm Cece, aka Soup, aka Soupsica, aka I did this to myself on the Twitter and the... what do I want to plug besides doing a whole Star Wars with your friends? 'Cause that's a whole lot of fun. Let's see. Drag is not a crime. So let's stop trying to make it one. Being trans is not a crime. So stop trying to make it one. Yeah, trans rights are human rights. So.
Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz. I will echo what CC said, and I will also say libraries are good. Having books are good. Don't outlaw libraries.
Things I never thought you'd have to say. Marty.
You don't get to call yourself the party of freedom if all you do is restrain other people's freedoms, you absolute ghouls. And like and subscribe.
Marty with the always unenviable task.
Click the bell for some reason.
Ring the bell.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it does. So ring it. Tell me. Ring the bell and then leave a comment what it did. That's engagement. That's a call to action.
Jay.
I got nothing that hasn't already been said. I like all of these people, which to me on my screen are all in that direction for me, but they're all good people. I'm grateful for them.
I'm grateful for all of you. I will echo, as always, what everyone said. Trans rights are human rights. Protect libraries. Protect trans kids. Protect trans people of all ages. I love all of you. Thank you for making my Star Wars dreams come true. If you would like to play a game that's not 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, might I recommend Hyperspace D6 or Star Wars, the role-playing game from West End Games. You can get this beautiful slipcase from Fantasy Flight, who used to be a company, but now they aren't anymore.
The amount of shit you take for assumed is Star Wars that came from that game is remarkable.
That and the Decipher card game named almost most of the characters who aren't named in the movies. Because before that, he was just Wolfman or Moose Jaw or whatever. Like, Hammerhead.
Face with battle staff is how I knew him. Yeah. I guarantee he's got a name now.
Go
ahead.
Hold on. I don't know Yak Face. Sorry.
Well, Yak Face he remains then.
Are you typing in Yak Face?
I'm vamping for time for you to look up Yak Face's actual name. Can I just point out that like Jay made us almost cry during the session 0 with potential storylines for Jay. So that's how this is going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to laugh and we're going to cry.
Yeah, I recently tried to make a list of like the essential Clone Wars arcs. First of all, it's a lot longer than I wanted it to be. And second of all, I just went, I cried during that arc. I cried during that arc. I cried through a shocking amount of Bad Batch. Like, so
literally sobbing at the end of Bad Batch to where my partner had to ask if I was okay.
I cannot reiterate enough. Don't sleep on the Bad Batch. That show is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. That's it. What's next week? It's Shattered Kingdoms. We'll be back on Wednesday. This Galaxy and Revolt will be back in May. Please come join us then. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/God of Roads. It's up in this corner. Thank you all again. Be safe. Be kind. Love you all.
Salt Murray is the name of the activity.